Hey everybody, I'm Gigi, and I'm one of the co-founders of Pi. In tech, we are told to move fast and break things. We ship fast, we iterate. If it doesn't work, we rebuild it. But CPG brands do not have that luxury. You cannot ship a test product to Whole Foods. You lock in your messaging, your packaging, your claims 6 months in advance, you make 10,000 units, and if the product doesn't sell, you are kicked off the shelf. So how do these brands de-risk these launches today? They launch a survey. This is the primary decision-making tool these teams have been given. We know this world super well. My brother and co-founder came from Ipsos, where he ran these exact studies for Fortune 500 brands, trying to answer their biggest launch questions. And I saw the same thing at Google, running millions of dollars in research. These massive decisions with years of product development behind them end up hinging on a couple hundred people answering a survey on their morning commute. We built Pi because we wanted to give brands a better way to make these decisions before launch. Now, in the physical world, when the stakes are high and mistakes are expensive, the most advanced companies use simulation. Pilots simulate flights before they fly, factories simulate production lines before they build, and today, companies are simulating entire worlds to train humanoid robots and self-driving cars. But simulating how people shop and behave hasn't been possible. Humans are too contradictory and context-dependent to really make good predictions. At Pi, we are finally making it possible to simulate human behavior with real fidelity. And we are bringing simulation to the $2 trillion CPG industry. Now, the hard part of this is making the simulation specific enough to actually be useful for brands. And I'll show you a bit of what I mean by that. So this is the kind of packaging test that comes up all the time in the CPG world. Do we lead with the brand or the product? And this is the exact test that was run by one of our design partners. Not this brand specifically, but a brand you may know and hopefully love and shop in your local Whole Foods. It seems trivial, but these tiny differences determine whether someone notices you on shelf, picks up the product, and ends up buying you. We asked a set of humans to choose their preferred option between these two, and here's what they selected. Now, I'm sure you know, there are other companies working on simulation and working to predict human behavior. For the most part, they were building general models. They're scraping internet data, and they're building models designed to represent the world and answer questions on almost anything. So we ran the same test against one of those models, and here's what they chose. Very different answer here. And that's because this is where things start to break down. To answer these kinds of questions well, you need the really good context on the messy reality of how humans actually behave. And that's what Pi does. When we tested the same question on Pi, here's what they chose. Pi performs better because our simulations are grounded in the deep, structured and unstructured data companies already have on their customers. Their sales data, reviews, customer interviews, engagement data, and research. And we use that data to build a predictive model of their customers that they can talk to and test packaging, messaging, and product ideas with instantly. Over our time here at Betaworks, we set out to perfect our simulations and measure their accuracy on some of the hardest questions in consumer research: messaging hierarchy, concept testing, and packaging design. And today, we're really proud to say that Pi can predict real consumer responses on those kinds of questions with over 85% accuracy. This took hundreds of iterations in simulation architecture to reach this level of fidelity. And you won't find another company that's able to make this claim on these kinds of questions. So let me show you what Pi looks like today. Cool. So this is Pi, and this is what exactly our design partners see. And I'll give you an example of one of our partners that is a luxury haircare brand. What you're looking at on the right side represents the model of their customer base, and in the center is the chat, where you can ask our research agent any questions about your customers. And for the sake of time, I've already gotten a chat started. So let's imagine that we are on their product team, and we're exploring whether we want to launch a hair oil. They've come to Pi, they've already gotten some good information so far, and now we're going to go down to deciding whether we're going to launch this product with packaging that leads with a claim about frizz control or hair bond repair. So let's see which one wins. Now, while that is running, I will just talk you through what is happening here. So this company brought us their sales data, their returns, their reviews, and we combined that with AI-moderated customer interviews that our agent ran to build digital twins of their customer base. For any given company, we typically see hundreds to thousands of these twins to capture the breadth of perspective of their customer base. Now, what Pi is doing right now is basically running the largest focus group ever. We are taking the visual, we are showing it to everyone, we are getting their feedback and preferences, and this is work that would normally take weeks. Survey creation, interviewing people, analysis. This is tens of thousands of dollars worth of research collapsed into a couple of minutes. A few weeks ago, we made a major update to this product experience, and after that update, we saw a 6x increase in the number of simulations run. That's important, because Pi is not a static research tool. Every simulation creates a prediction that we can learn from. Because we are embedded with brands and we connect to their data sources, we get to see over time whether our predictions come true. And we create a reinforcement learning loop to improve the system. So what a brand ends up with is a predictive engine tuned to their specific customers and use cases that gets better every time they use it. That feedback loop is how we go from predicting consumer responses to predicting real-world outcomes, like sales, return on ad spend, and churn, and ultimately giving brands a parallel world they can test decisions in before they make them. So as we can see here, this was a close call. Let me collapse this. And I can click through. There's slides already ready to go I can take back to my team meeting, and we can go back and make a decision. So leading brands like Crown Affair, Athletic Brewing, Aura Frames, and Mush are all using Pi today. And we're kicking off our first partnership with a Fortune 500 brand. Early pilots are converting into 6-month plus contracts because these brands are saving thousands of dollars and so much time. Consumer brands have never had a way to move fast without breaking things, and that's what Pi gives them. We are so excited to continue building the predictive engine for brands. So if there's a brand out there that you're connected with that you think might love Pi, we'd love to chat. Or if you just want to talk to us about whether this whole thing is a simulation anyway, come find us after. Thanks so much.